security, psychological needs. And, you know, to a baby, my son told me basic need is shelter, water, food, and hair. But we added Wi-Fi there because that is knowledge. Knowledge is also very good in moderation. So it points to the importance of mortgage financing or getting a shelter. So what is a mortgage? Mortgage is usually long-term, and then people use it to buy a property, and then the property serves as the collateral typically. And then, you know, there are currently 24 mortgage banks in Nigeria, and a lot of people get it. We think it's only outside the country that we have this opportunity, but we have a lot of mortgage opportunity in Nigeria. Last year, 2024, we have over 9,800 mortgages that were booked. Not people that bought property, but people that use mortgage to buy the property. The next slide. And we have a lot of opportunities on this mortgage in Nigeria. People focus a lot on what does not work in Nigeria. But underneath, a lot of things are working, and we just need knowledge about it. The mortgage banks and the commercial banks give you these high rates, but typically there are a lot of orders. You have three. The HEMRIF is by the federal government, 12%. The family home funds is also by the federal government, 16%. And then the NHF is 6%. So you can see that the tenors are quite long, and your equity contribution is small. So your equity contribution is the deposit you need to make down to buy the property. So for a property of 20 million, for example, that means you just need 2 million if it is 10%. The next slide. So eligibility, everybody that has a proof of consistent income can get a mortgage. And those that have 5 years left. So in Nigeria, it's actually 60. So people from age 55 down can still qualify. So the younger you are, the better you start early. Aside that, I know in the public sector, for people that lecturers and the judges, we extend to 70 for them. So that is the only extension that I know we have. And then you have a clean credit report. When you borrow, make sure you repay. Because there's a platform where everything you borrow to your air credit, the thing you borrow from Airtel and everything is documented. So they will see those of you that borrow and do not repay. Then co-borrowing is allowed. You know, the husband and the wife, typically we allow the two of you to borrow together so you can share the burden. The repayment is benchmarked against 1/3 of your income. So we don't let it exceed that so that it does not put so much burden. We know there are a lot of other responsibilities. There's direct debit mandate. You don't need to repay every month. There's a system that picks it from your account. So where there's a co-borrower, the system picks from the account of the two of you in the proportion you want it. So everything has been done that way to make it easier. So why should you use a mortgage? Or why should you partner with a bank? I know we are very skeptical, but there's due diligence parts to it. You know, a mortgage bank, we have legal unit, risk unit, we have lawyers, accountants. They do proper due diligence, making sure what you are buying, there's approvals for building, approvals for drainage. The search is complete, the title is clean, so that Tokumba will not come and start destroying your house and say there's a sewage that needs to pass through that. Aside that, you have an investment partner that has more than you. So they will not want that house to go. I know there was a time that they were demolishing a lot of houses at Ikota, and a lot of them are under mortgage. We engaged Lagos State government, and they bypassed those because we went as a group and institution. So then insurance is there, there's title perfection. So there's a lot of things that goes well when you partner with an insurance that is set up to do that on your behalf. They watch out for you because the property belongs to the two of you. So we have a product, we call it HomeVest. The next slide. What we did here is that, the next slide, we saw that there are three major problems people have. The first one is, where is that property that I want to buy? So we have a platform where there's a lot of property there for you to choose from. Or you can even bring your home property. You know, we know you are very busy. Second one is, how do I bring that 10%, the 2 million or the 3 million? You can contribute it over time, 12 months to 36 months. Then the third one is, where do I get the financing for the balance? So I have showed you a slide that pointed to a lot of mortgage options that you can choose from. The next slide, Samson. So who are the people that qualifies? Everybody qualifies as long as you are earning. And so that you start the process now does not mean you want to buy a house. You might want to buy a house tomorrow or next year or 2027, but just start putting aside some money so that you can start accumulating. And then that's when you start seeing opportunity. Anybody that earns decent money can do this. Even for our senior citizens, I have a lady, she sells property only to people that their children are getting married. Once she sees the high V, she will come and meet you. Instead of throwing a bigger than life wedding, give them 1 million and tell them to start saving towards. So whether you are in Nigeria or you are outside Nigeria, you are qualified for it. And what we have done where I work in Imperial Homes is that, all these things, we put it together on a digital platform or an app. The next slide. And then the next slide. No, go back. Go back, please. Yeah, we put everything together on the app. So you can search this property, and most mortgage banks can give you this a platform. Search for property. That's number one. Number two, you can save consistently towards having that equity contribution, and then you can now apply for a mortgage. Like I said, it's a long-term plan that you need to take care of. Then people say we don't have properties I can buy. These Lekki Ekpe axis. I just picked a few of partners that we work with, and you can see different from 20-something to 30-something to 50. So it's not until you buy a banana or in Lekki one, those things we see on Instagram, that might not be real life. That is just 1% of what happened. 99% of people really buy what is good for them. Then the next slide talk about the mainland Lagos, not left out. You can see, we have a lot of opportunities in Egbeda. We have people buying in Agege. I know there was a time my mom was building something around Akute that it would take us 3 hours. Now in 30 minutes, you were there because infrastructure have extended. So even in Shomolu, where there's a woman that is building, 2 years ago, she did this thing for 20 million, 25. You can see the prices have gone up. So those people that took the opportunities there. Just slow down a bit for me on this closing. Now, on this closing, you can go to the closing. That God wants us to climb the economic ladder. There's opportunity out there, and there's information and knowledge. Let's avoid living in fear, and let's step out in faith. And then real estate investing is also a means of stewardship. We know the parable of the people Jesus' parable about the people that were given talents. Some buried it and some decided to invest and get it done. 2, be modest. Start from something that is modest. You see a lot of big houses on Instagram. Also look at the ones that is according to your need. You need a 2-bedroom apartment now. You need a 3-bedroom apartment. Even if it is 1 bedroom with a BQ. I'll make an example of myself. I got a 4-bedroom house 8 years ago. Last year was the first time I used the remaining 2 bedrooms. I only have 1 bedroom for myself and my wife, and 1 for all the children. So last year I realized that my girl needed to be separated. So why do you need to start with a 4-bedroom house when you can start modest? Thirdly, view it as a family investment project. The partners should sit down and work a plan for it. Number 4, your journey is unique. Do use. For some people, you just need to buy land and not take mortgage and build something. For some people, it's just for you to be paying instrumentally. For some people, it's for you to look at a financing options that work for you. Then lastly, I want you to start with what you have. And then start now. If you have not started, you're already late in that game. For those of you that are interested, you can scan this barcode. And I think they have downstairs as well. And then, so you can fill a form. Someone will call you, refer you to a good mortgage bank, look at your needs, point you to a good developer that has projects that will be ending in the next 2-3 years. May God help us in Jesus' name. Thank you.